Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Hope you all are doing well on this fine Thursday. Week is almost over. It's July. Oh, sorry. No, it's not. It's August 1st, 2024. Crazy. August 1st. Hope you're getting all your summer fun in while you can, while supplies last. Oh man. All right, we're gonna jump right into this. A couple more cuts. And we won't delay. Don't forget about the summer soul sale, 11 questions, personal prayers composed for your specific manifestation intentions in the description box below. All right, here we go. Whoa, Wheel of Fortune. All right, this is a destined and fated event. Destiny and fate playing out. This could be karma. It could be dharma. Definitely some big change. Maybe closing a cycle and getting ready to embark on something like revolutionary, definitely evolutionary. Let's see what we got. Wow, the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, there is an inheritance with your name on it, is what I'm sensing here. Whether that's energetic, whether that's material, whether it is, I'm hearing spatial, maybe like land or something like that. Maybe that's why I hear that. Or maybe more than that, because the Wheel of Fortune is universal energy, it's galactic. So this is like the passing down of generational wealth and inheritance, gifts, talents, abilities. Could be information. Certainly could even be, a legacy living through I would say an ancient legacy or ancient dynasty having a strong, prosperous continuance through you, hopefully, if you relate. Oh, what? What? This how we doing it today, Spirit? Okay. Well, all right. It's a gift. Wow. It's a gift. A big one. Whatever it is, it's big. It's something that you couldn't have planned for with your best intentions, because again, it's bigger than life. It's like it has supernatural essence. Wow. And it also has, like, I would say, big responsibility attached to it as well, especially considering we got the 10 of Pentacles here, which means it has the potential to impact generations. It's like ancestors, let's say most primitively so, your ancestors could be immediate ancestors in the flesh that you even know, or those that aren't too far removed that you're aware of, but it could even be lifetimes ahead of you before you that have come to, well, really, this, to me, what it feels like is like a fulfillment of a covenant that you happen to be the beneficiary of. Even with the Queen of Cups here, like sometimes, most times I see her almost like coveting the Ace of Cups, which is like the Holy Grail. Well, that's the magnitude of that energy, right? And somehow connecting with that value within yourself is what may have unlocked all of this, may have unlocked the portal of prosperity, where it needed to have something to filter through or to connect with, this heavenly or celestial essence needed is needed a right word? It may not be needed, but it was fated for there to be a physical conduit for this celestial creativity in order to manifest it in the physical form in the earth realm. Otherwise, it's like treasure that stays buried, and uncovered and unknown somewhere, like say in a tomb or in a pyramid, or in some type of, if something about it feels like it was protected for a certain time, where a certain alignment of spirit and truth would allow it to be manifested. So it could be, practically speaking, a new job opportunity, or some level of support or financial resource that advances your creativity and allows it to expand in a way that could ultimately take a small idea from an enterprise, practically speaking. But it feels like something heavier and lighter all at the same time, if that makes sense. Like the Queen of Cups gets to be the recipient of an ancient seed that is only the essence of prophecy. That's something that hasn't been seen or witnessed in this lifetime as a possibility until now. So again, it could be a gift that's unlocked because someone is, some people are vibrationally aligned in the frequency of love. It's like, in order for such a harvest to spring forth as the Ten of Pentacles, we got the water here. This could even be the sun, with the Wheel of Fortune. And there was something about cultivating the soil in which it gets to grow. Maybe someone being grounded in their emotional state. submitted and surrendered to self-love in such a high frequency that it like supercharged the soil by which the seed could be planted and then ultimately be to germinate. What is it though? Can I say something more specific here? It's heavy emphasis on self-love though. And what is given is that what I'm saying is something that was hidden is because it's almost like the secret ingredient, like the secret, what is it called? Like the secret, like that's that ideal, right? Where manifestation, everybody has their theory and their method, and their ideal about how it gets to be done, or even their own testimony about how they've done it in some specific way. But it's like something that was almost hidden in plain sight, something as simple as self-love, and really what that looks like per individual, of course, but the most general, almost like, okay, yeah, self-love, yeah, almost what's the word, not taboo, but when something is, damn, what's the word, not taboo, the word is escaping me, but when it's like, okay, right, got it, self-love, yep, we got it. But really, that's like the key, and it's the one thing, it's like the world around us would project to us a million, just as many opinions as there are about how one manifests over the other, or next to the other. Not to make it competitive, but just different reflections of how it gets to be done. Is as many projections as we confront on even the superficial or fabricated way to materialize wealth and abundance and prosperity. Somewhere even intertwined and it, weaved between that fabrication is even some pieces of spiritual principles that are just as valid, or just as effective, I should say. But when it all, like the simplest form, the simplest reduction, the lowest common denominator, which ain't so low, of course, really just comes down to love. And it seems like such a simple thing, but it's, in this climate, is one of the hardest things to do. Because as soon as you feel like you have your foot on a solid ground to nurture yourself from the inside out, is as soon as something would pop up to project that you're doing it wrong, or you have more work to do, or this is the way you do it, or you're not doing it enough, or this is, like so many contradictions from the simplest resolve. But it's something here about there being a great revelation about this simple I'll say a big reveal about this simple revelation, like something that gets to be amplified almost, because this looks like a speaker, and this, it's like, I mean, even think about this, the season that we're in with the Olympics, these are gold medals. This even looks like a trophy if you get into it. It's something about finally there being a big reveal of what it truly takes to be a winner in this life. And it being so simple and so almost primitive that some people upon revelation will still feel like it's like almost like the Olympics, like, oh no, only certain people can do that, only the top percentile of athletes in the world can accomplish such an achievement. It's only, some may just, altogether count themselves out from, literally disqualify themselves from the games on account of their disbelief in their own ability. But not because it's actually too hard, is what I'm getting. It's because it seems too easy. It seems too simple. It seems too primitive. Like, really? Love yourself? What's the catch? Like, and then what? And then when you really get past, because there's this concept that's pretty trendy now about self-love and self-care, but even that gets to be filtered and simplified more than what it's trumped up to be, I believe. Particularly by the end, like, imagine, shout out to Simone Biles, who's just like a phenom of a woman, of an athlete, of a human being, right? But everybody, including, the whole U.S. women's team, gymnastics team, has their own method of training that works specifically for them. And they all performed in excellence. And as a matter of fact, she, as the dynamic leader that she is, was greatly contributed to her team advancing in their training over the last few years or so to make it to the accomplishment that they gained today. Just today, she became another decorated gymnast with her 6th gold medal in the overall, or I forget what they call it, competition. And homegirl Sunny Lee was not far behind with the bronze. Amazing achievements and accomplishments that are a spotlight of inspiration for all to see. But like I said, it's like, oh, but she's been doing that for years. Yeah, she's been doing what works for her for years, what she loves, what drives her passion, literally what she loves to do. Since she was a little girl, they showed a clip of her. But if everyone works in that frequency on their own training schedule and their own training regimen, there are plenty of medals for everybody, and not so much about it being like a title or even a material reward per se or exclusively, even though there's a lot of that here, and an exuberant amount with the Wheel of Fortune between the Ace of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. Like, this is ridiculous abundance here, but it all comes down to doing what you love, doing what makes you feel good, healing trauma and your heart space in a way, in all the ways that would make you, or that have contributed to making you feel like it has to be harder than that. There has to be more. There has to be an exception. There has to be a catch. No, it's just simply loving you, doing what you love, and believing that you are worthy of everything that is assigned to you. It seems too good to be true, but it's the absolute truth. And that's what is like the hidden secret, the thing that's hidden in plain sight, because it's the truth that's hidden amongst us all individually and collectively, but getting people to believe it is one thing, because there's been so much resistance to do the opposite. And then maintaining that belief in yourself, even once you had any connection to it or glimpse of it at all, is the biggest challenge. But this Wheel of Fortune, this is like a destined and fated event. Like, these are like titans in this Wheel of Fortune card, and somehow you are being decorated as one of the greats to ever do it, one of the best to ever do it in your sport, in your lane, on your destined path. It's saying that the divine says so. It's saying that your ancestors have endorsed you and are proud of how you have carried the legacy. At this point, perhaps you've broken a great deal of, that's what it is, that's the sport, the breaking of these generational cycles that would disqualify you from being the beneficiary, the executor of this grand estate that's being passed down. What you've accomplished in this previous season, your training, your discipline, your diligence, perhaps even playing hurt at times, which I believe Simone was at some point in this competition. She was having some type of ailment and she still came out on top, playing amongst, some of the greatest competition in the world. And in this case, how it looks in the way that I'm speaking of it is almost having blinders on to any other competitor but yourself. Because it's not really so much about competing to prove anyone to be less than you or less of an athlete than you. It's about proving to yourself in the moments that count that you are all that you have trained to be, all that you showcasing, as a matter of fact, that you're all of the hype that you've evolved yourself to live into or to live up to, and perhaps even some of which has been propaganded. It's probably not a word, but like, what others have an expectation to see of you. Like, not like she was performing with stars, people top class in their craft, actors, musicians, other athletes in other sports, just wanted to see her in action. And she did it so gracefully with so much poise. And of course, I'm sure she probably had to have all types of nerves going on the inside, but you wouldn't have known any better by the way that she performed. And it's like, when it's game time, when it's time to show up and show out, it doesn't matter who's watching. It doesn't matter who is so-called in the runnings beside you, behind you, ahead of you, who's in competition, who's even on your team or not. All it matters is how you perform. And that performance is not so much in a matter of what you do in that stage, it's who you've been leading up to that moment all along. You start being a champion, an Olympian, a world-class athlete, a supreme being, well before you need to ever need to showcase that identity. Is who you are, which is why when she performs, it looks like she's just walking on air, because it's who it was her identity before she even stepped foot on the mat or the beam or whatever, like, is what she loves to do, is what loves her, is how she expresses her passion and her highest frequency of creativity. And it becomes rewarding in dividends. It is. I mean, I can only imagine the endorsements that she's about to have. Like, crazy, But the point is that there is that achievement. Well, there's that potential in all of us, and there is that achievement for all of us. And for her, like I said, everybody's training being different. If you were to probably hear what she does to prepare herself, it would probably sound crazy, because you're not trying to be a gymnast. But perhaps whatever it is that you've trained to do, or you flexed your spiritual and physical being to become, would be kind of outrageous to her. Case in point, as Beyonce was one of the announcers for her for the advertisement for the event today, and she did like a little blurb with music and clips of Simone throughout different points in her competitive career. And she said, I'm inspired by her. And I'm inspired by Beyonce being inspired by Simone, like all of that. But we know Beyonce is one of the best to do it in her craft. And yet I'm sure the way in which Simone trains and prepares is incomparable. Yet there's a synchronicity there as well, like something relatable in it as well, because it's about the heart and the mind of a champion. And again, that's something that's not reserved for the elites that are showcased on the small screen, the big stage, and so on and so forth. That's an everyday possibility for everyone. Hell, even Beyonce might be astounded by some of the ways that you cultivate your spirit. she might be able to take a pointer or two in the art of just being, you know, not having to live up to any obligation, any public opinions, any contracts or bindings, or living up to her last album or the one before that. And you know, like every time you step out and do anything, having to worry about what people have to say, like I'm sure she would be astounded by the ways in which some so-called ordinary people live their lives day to day in extraordinary ways. And this world card is like, it's the new cycle, it's the new justice. Oh my goodness, this is all fair game here. Look at this world card, it's an exaltation. Like I said, closing those previous karmic cycles, generational curses, generational cycles, or even bad habits of your own, poor conditionings, misunderstandings, illusions, delusions, and having a completely fresh start. And this is about cause and effect, which again draws my point that there had to be something that you did to justify this present experience. This isn't like I just dropped out the sky and here you go because you're just so wonderful. This is earned merit here. Discipline, staying within the integrity of whatever, not rules, but whatever creed you established for yourself. Certainly unto the divine, you know, would make a whole lot of sense given all of this, you know, super energy here, but this is justice. It could be spiritual justice, but certainly physical as well, meaning that your integrity was disciplined. Otherwise, you couldn't have, without that discipline and that resilience, perhaps even in what could have been even unfair seasons of life. Think back to 2020 when Simone actually had to drop out. I think it was because she had an injury or something, or she had some mental health issues as well. But that could have been the last we saw of her. For her to come back 4 years later so triumphantly, that wasn't just a snap, you know, I belong here because I did some great stuff in the past, so I belong to compete here. That had to be earned by merit. There was something that was done that caused that effect. And I'm just saying, I'm using her to encourage that it's in you, like Gatorade. I think Gatorade has a new saying too. What is it? It's like, I think it used to be, is it in you? But now it's something like, well, I gotta look it up, because they have recently like updated that. I'm gonna find it right now because I'm just curious, because it changed from a question to a statement. The Lovers. And I'm gonna take that upright because of how I kind of smacked it, because this ain't nothing reversed about this, about the Lovers, about choosing yourself. And if anything, that was a projection of the question that you often probably had to grapple with. Is it in you? ? questioning if you had the stuff that a champion is made of, that a supreme being is truly made of, and maybe even thoughtful about what that even looks like, comparing yourself to others, comparing yourself to past seasons in your life, only to get to the point where now it's irrefutable. Yeah, now, oh man, it was, is it in you? And now, just as recently as May 2024, it was updated to be win from within. Come on, somebody. Questioning your worth, your value. Managing the projections that would contradict what you know to be true of yourself. That's the only thing that would throw that card in reverse. Is dealing with the confrontation of the contrary. The things that tell you you're not enough, that you need to do more, that's all you doing. Well, you ain't never gonna make it that way. Or, well, so-and-so did this to get ahead, or so-and-so does this to win, or this is how you manifest. No, it's like this. So being pulled in so many different directions, literally almost being pulled apart from your whole self, only to come back to the grounding that, no, it's in me. I have everything that I need. All the bright ideas, all the confidence, the security, even when it's not supported from the outside of me, it's solid from within me. And that's a hard place to come to, because again, you don't get to this place by gaining materials, by doing all the things and earning all the things that project prosperity. Even the metal itself is not a signifier. What's reassuring and affirming is who you get to be before anyone takes notice, before anybody even sees or knows who you are. Who you get to be without needing accolades or rewards. A pat on the back, a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, like every range of approval and affirmation you could possibly think of. This is not really needing that and it being nice to have, but Pentacles are the last thing to manifest. Remember, we started at the Queen of Cups, having that assurance already running through your veins, sometimes with no real cause to maintain it. That's a real champion. When everything tells you that you're a loser, or that you're gonna lose, or that you have no right to believe that you should win, or that there's so many better competitors than you. Maybe even that what you do is not all that special, and then here you go, finding yourself in the upright, in that affirmation for yourself first. This is what a champion is made of, because you can't really hear that affirmation from intangible spaces until you've grounded it from within. Now that support to port that, that transmission internally comes from a greater source, a higher source, a supreme source, however you want to see it. But you would still first have to hear it, connect to it from within your own being before you even believe it. And again, amongst great interferences on the outside and hell, sometimes on the inside too. So man, let's see what else we got. I am going to keep that in reverse. No, I'm going to take it upright. You saw that it came out to the side, but this is the end of the cycle of even you sabotaging yourself, or perhaps the times when you were injured, when you were hurt, when you were beat down mentally, emotionally, physically, running your race till your feet bleed. This is the energy of coming to the end of a great what's the right word I want to use? Challenge. I mean, an exhaustive challenge. But the 10 means that whoa, it's 10, 10, 10 on the board. The world, 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands, but the 10 signifying that the worst is far behind you now. Like you faced the worst as a champion, and now here are the rewards. What's on the bottom? Back to the Queen of Cups. Because you loved yourself. You never lost sight of love, and perhaps not even just the internal love, yes, but with the Queen of Cups, that love can't help but flow from the inside out. So that could have meant at times when there was betrayal or there was interference outside of you. Maybe somebody was tampering with your games or your sport, cheating. You know, you never resorted to anything less than love for yourself or for anyone else. Grace, at least, for all circumstances that you encountered, and stay focused on your fuel, your force fuel, which is what makes it possible for you to win from within. Not being, resorting to being a victim, not self-pity about what wasn't fair and what you didn't have and what you wish you could have done differently, or remorse or regret or anything like that. This is like somebody that may have been down at many times within their event of life, meaning the sport or whatever it is that you do, like you just being you. You may have fallen flat on your face many, many times, but you still found a way to get back up and to recharge your force fuel, to believe for another opportunity to prove yourself to yourself again. And if anything, if there is any external, projection from the inside out, it's just wanting to make the divine proud in your persistence and resilience. That's answering to a much higher and greater calling than anything alongside of you. Again, not about running the race or competing one team or one country to another. It was always about doing what you knew was in that justice energy, in commitment and devotion to your most supreme nature, to you at your best. Three more and I'm out. Shakari, I don't really know how she's doing right now because I haven't been keeping up with everything. Whew, hot. But she had a great fall as well. I know the fact that she's even made it this year is a great accomplishment because she fell short in years past when everybody was, kind of rooting for her and things just didn't work out the way that it would have been, favorable for her to do so. Because I was looking at this and I was thinking it's like somebody that, is running the hurdles or something and they trip on one and fall flat. That's what I was seeing with the Ten of Swords. So it made me think about her. And here she is. I mean, USA is really, I know that the media is biased, really pretty much just showing us who's all winning on our team, but every time I look up on my timeline, somebody's making some new unprecedented win or breaking some record. The men's rowing team clinching a gold medal for the first time in 64 years. And, just so many phenomenal achievements that it's very inspiring. And I know that there's some controversy around the games this year, and I'm not even sure why because I didn't dig into it, but what's being projected to me is high frequency. And if it reads that way for others that are, running their race respectively, it might it probably is making a major impact on creation and civilization overall that are tapped in to receive it, of course, because not everybody is. But we'll probably see an upswing in some phenomenal occurrences and accomplishments from so-called everyday people, or a rise of celebrity and achievement in unexpected ways, And we may not even see it, but what we will feel is the impact that it makes with this raised vibration within those that, conceive it, if they do, where people are going to really be inspired and enlivened with a new passion to just go for the gold and whatever it is that they're doing. Here's the Six of Cups. This is about, up under the World card, again, it's about really purifying those past life regressions. Like what are you making up for in this lifetime? What are you avenging, reforming, again, purifying, filtering of relationships. And more so with this is because the Lovers is here, but it's more so about who you show up to be in relationships in every way, shape, and form. Because if anything, that is the race for human beings that may have no particular, competitive drive otherwise, meaning that there's nothing else that you particularly aspire to do specifically. Being a good person, a good human to others is something that everybody can be decorated in. Like we couldn't have enough winners in that in that sport right now for people to just wake up and choose life, to choose to do something positively contributory to creation. And this is that energy here, like how you show up amongst your peers, in the world, just being you. What love have you been able to source from the past, of the past, and repurpose in this lifetime or in this season? It could even be the lessons of those, closed cycles that, again, you get to transmute or repurpose moving forward in a way that really makes an impact. I'm sure just how the loss of Simone's loss in 2020 fueled her in a different way than all of her wins in the past probably did, but not because it had an adverse effect on her tenacity. It clearly had a very productive one. And And so that's what we want to take from our past experiences here, good, better, and different. What's the total sum of quality we can consume from everything we've encountered, even the times when we fell flat on our face, that would contribute to how we now play the game in this season, in this Olympic year. And it is an Olympic year. Look, and the justice again. And it's rectifying those relationships that haven't been balanced because of your contribution to what? Your self-love. To put you in a position where you're only attracting, really and truly, those energies, energies that are in the lover's frequency, and that even if they do regenerate from a past essence or ordinance, it can only be the best of that regeneration now, not the worst of it recycling. Maybe even a past love coming back online that you thought would never have a chance again, or for all intents and purposes may not have been slated to have, because this is the Ace of Pentacles, another proposal, and we got the Ten of Pentacles. So I'm really kind of glazing over the love factor because I'm enamored by the Champion factor right now for some reason. But certainly this could be a regeneration of love at its finest, finally at a time in a season where it can be justified, where it can exist safely. Something about security and safety here, like something is protected, like, and here's the covenant, right? That's what it is. It's something about an ancient covenant, or it could be the covenant that maybe your ancestors made, you know, collectively somewhere in the ethereal realms to ordain or to appoint you as the beneficiary of bliss, you know, and all the blessings that come with that. It's like she's the one, he's the one that gets to carry on the legacy. You're the one that has proven yourself to be trustworthy with all of this great fortune, not to generate the same old toxic cycles of the past and ultimately squander it away, or not put it to good use for what? The future, you know, of generational wealth, or to be stopped short by the pitfalls that were more or less predestined for you to confront, you know, instead of letting them be a training ground, to let them pretty much be a disqualification. You know, all of that had to be determined. It's like, I guess, like the pre-games or whatever you call it, when everybody's kind of competing for their spot to get to the actual Olympic Games. That's what's been happening in this past season. Like, everybody's kind of been on their own trial, proving themselves in their own lane, in their own sport, judged by the divine counsel that's respective to them and their legacy. And it's like it's been decided, you know, it feels like unanimously. A unanimous decision. And this flipped over upside down. Everything that would want to try to project opposition, like I said, unanimously, there are no opposers. There are there's no vote less than confidence in your capability to carry on the legacy by way of how you've already performed with much less pressure than you were even aware of, because you didn't even know you were being observed. You didn't even know you were being observed and judged. Literally being handpicked and chosen. You were just trying to keep your head above water probably most days, trying to pick yourself up and dust yourself off. And little did you know that just the way in which you did that was the resemblance of a champion. Wounded warrior. Not only have you exhibited great strength to come through difficulty and challenge, this is also the energy of anything that would want to object or to resist your appointment at this time. Anything that feels it has any entitlement to your gold medal or your win, your achievement, your accomplishment, even to say that they contributed to it in any definite way, is not really going to have a strong leg to stand on with the Nine of Wands. This is displaced energy in this time, because this is somebody that they may still be a little hurt. They need some rehabilitation and a new season of training themselves to think that their vote matters that much. It just doesn't, because the divine has already ordained its victors based on those who ultimately have chosen themselves. One more. And here's the celebration. In spirit and in truth. This is those that are spectating the win, celebrating, cheering you on, excited about the inspiration that you incite to them to be winners in their own right. Like, this is like three people that are toasting like they just won. That's the residual effect of winning in the realm, when you're open to receive it as such, of course. Like, anybody still like in this energy or that Nine of Wands, that's not somebody necessarily that can perceive someone else's win and conceptualize it for themselves. That's somebody that may feel threatened by other people winning and, may not really be able to connect to how they can do it too, or not want to, or still be too fixated on their losses to move ahead. But the Three of Cups feels like people that are celebrating like they just won the gold medal. And that's how you perpetuate that energy, because if I can celebrate you and your achievements and accomplishments, that energy is contagious, highly contagious. That raises my vibration and inspiration in myself to now transmute that energy as force fuel to invest in whatever it is that I do well, and even if it's not directly like, oh, you won, so now I get to have a win. It's just the frequency of excitement and celebration that is contagious in a way that ultimately raises the potency of that love factor, or that love essence that you find in that Queen of Cups grail of sorts, that's enough to pass around between everybody, because everybody has their own holy grail to covet. And if you don't, you could be inspired to find it or to connect to it from the inside out, just on account of seeing somebody else do it. but it's also the ancestors, angels, way showers, guides, whatever the heavenly hosts are of perhaps the intangible realms that have ordained this great victory for you, to you, that are celebrating that now is the moment that you get to stand on the top of that podium and get decorated as you have earned the merit to be so. The Hangman and the High Priestess. Whew, hot. This is going from, this is Pisces, going from, well, this is Cancer though. But it's something, to me, really, it's about going from that point of like almost awaiting the affirmation, you know, maybe even the time in which you spent to learn, to grow, to advance your craft. With submission though, in submission, this is not necessarily being stuck with the Hangman. This is allowing yourself to, as Pisces is, like to cultivate your dream from the inside out by way of what you believe in yourself and what you allow yourself to conceive that would deliver you into that reality of your dream vision. And then the High Priestess to me is like the exaltation of that deliverance. This is like the divine feminine in all her glory. And what does she do but stay devoted to her supreme self, her supreme source, to her integrity, to her morals, to her ethics, to her standards, to, you know, her principles. That which was cultivated here in this Hangman position, where you were being disciplined and shaped and molded into the identity of the champion. And this is like sitting in that adornment without a second guess, like without a blink. It just is you now. And with the High Priestess, of course, as you know, as a more of a benevolent energy and a spiritual figment, this is an appointment that is equally assumed, meaning when you consider like a nun, there's a devotion that one submits themselves to, but there also is the implication of a higher calling as well. So it's just as much of an appointment as it is an anointing. Because if you're not meant to sit in a seat as sacred as this, you probably won't last very long. And in a practical sense, if you're operating in a lane, in a sport, or in a space that you're kind of having to force yourself to perform in, one of a couple of things may happen. Either you'll be defeated in some way that you can't overcome, or it'll lose its flavor for you, and you won't have the passion to persist, let alone to actually win and achieve, you know, any high standard of success. So this energy would have to be just as submitted to their calling and their purpose and their destiny as they are appointed and anointed to it and affirmed from the divine for it, which means that a great deal, that usually comes with a great deal of trial, discipline, and what? Training. To then sit in this energy almost as if you were always meant to be there, because you probably were. Which is why the materialization of that affirmation is manifesting right now in this very season. So Congratulations. You did it. Whatever it is, if it's just the sport of being yourself, you have outperformed anyone in your sport or yourself in any other seasons past, maybe even in any lifetimes past, and certainly have carried the torch or the baton a great deal of a distance further than some of your predecessors. So in any way that you splice it, you have earned this gold medal. Congratulations. There's so much more to come. All right, so thank you for listening and watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.